Silk fabric originated in China at least 5,000 years ago and became a coveted luxury. Silk thread is produced by silkworms when they make their cocoons. Sericulture, or commercially breeding silkworms for silk production, is practiced in several Asian countries. From home goods to accessories and clothing, there are few textiles as elegant and luxurious or as prized throughout the ages as silk. It's hard to believe this beautiful fabric comes from worms. The female silkworm lays up to 400 eggs in one shot, then promptly dies. Each egg, about 2 weeks later, hatches into a larva. The larva feeds on fresh mulberry leaves continuously, increasing its body weight 10,000-fold and growing to a length of about 3 inches. Then, as it enters the pupa phase of its life cycle, it excretes liquid raw silk from salivary glands in its mouth. When that liquid silk contacts with the air, it hardens into a single thread. Pupating larva winds that thread around itself into a thick, cozy cocoon. Normally, the pupa inside becomes a moth, and the cocoon breaks as it emerges. However, this severs the continuous silk thread, so to keep the thread intact, they boiled the cocoon for about 3 minutes to kill the pupa inside before it transforms into a moth. Boiling the cocoons also makes the wound thread easier to unravel by melting away most of the sericin, the gelatinous protein that binds it. To harvest the silk, they take threads from 30 to 50 cocoons at a time. They feed them all together through a hole in the bamboo stick onto a hand-operated reel. Then, slowly and carefully, they turn the reel, unraveling the cocoons. As the thread passes together through the stick, the remaining sericin glues them together, forming a single thicker thread. The silk threads coming together are so fine, only about 1/100th of a millimeter in diameter, that it takes 2,000 to 3,000 cocoons to produce a pound of silk thread. Unraveling cocoons is a time-consuming process because a single thread can be as long as 9 professional soccer fields. To make this feather-like silk thread easier to handle, they weigh it down with sand before rolling it into a bundle. Next, they wash away the sand and remaining sericin, then bleach the thread so it will uniformly absorb the synthetic dye. It's critical to monitor the ratio of dye to hot water, as well as water temperature and soaking time, as all these factors combined affect the quality of the color. After rinsing away the excess dye with lukewarm water, they hang the thread to dry. They mount the bundles of dry dyed silk thread on a big machine, which transfers them to smaller rollers. Those rollers then go on an automated machine, which transfers the thread to small bobbins. To craft silk fabric, weavers will pass bobbins of thread horizontally between vertical threads on a traditional hand-operated loom. Another machine, meanwhile, winds thread around spools. A worker then installs a set number of spool threads on a mechanism, which aligns them vertically on the loom, parallel to each other. Fabric that's about 3 feet wide typically requires 4,000 vertical threads. By stepping on the loom's foot pedal, the weaver repeatedly raises every second vertical thread, and with a tug of a cord, passes a shuttle containing a bobbin of thread horizontally in between. This intertwining of horizontal and vertical threads weaves the silk fabric. To create a pattern, the weaver uses multiple shuttles containing threads of different colors, thicknesses, and textures. Some patterns, such as an intricate weave called brocade, are so intricate that even the most experienced weavers produce just 2 to 6 inches of fabric per day. Now that's wearable art.